Roy, you have smiled a couple of times today in unusual times, and I don't know what is going on with you right now, but you mentioned something about Stephen A. Smith, and then you delivered to me that Stephen A. Smith had said something, and you did it with a smile on your face, but you haven't told me what it is that he said and what the details are of why this makes you so happy.
Well, on his podcast, he cryptically went after a member of the media, calling him a no-good fat bastard, and I think it's pretty easy to guess who he was talking about.
I've tracked down the sound of this.
Of him calling someone or me a no good fat
Well,
bastard?
right now you're the leading candidate, to be honest.
Yeah, 1 and 2.
I haven't listened to the sound.
What'd you do now, Dan?
I don't know what I
mean,
did
you
now.
have
What
been
is this
beefing.
game? Did the two of you call each other on the weekend and say this is going to be the week that we're going to be fighting against each
An
other?
engagement
Sweet
exchange.
week.
Yeah, like an engagement
Yeah.
exchange program.
Look, he has.
Because it's on and off. I mean, I feel like you both kind of like this back and forth.
Well, I think it's funny. I do like the back and forth, but it's never gotten so personal that he would call me a no good fat bastard. Like that's not how we argue. We're arguing about things. It's not insincere. We disagree about a number of different
Are
things.
you denying that you're a no good fat bastard?
I feel like I'm an occasionally good fat bastard, but I think he would call me a sanctimonious. The worst that he's gotten in the name calling with me is calling me sanctimonious. He did that to my face, to his credit. He wasn't.
No, he's got bars, but he never really omits names, which is this is so cryptic. He never really does.
So
this.
wait a
He
minute.
goes at people.
But what's the part you're smiling about, Roy? Is it that he's talking about me? That he's ripping me? Is it that the rip is very good?
Well, I have the audio here. Let's find out for ourselves what he might be.
Off your phone. You're going to do this off your phone. This is the Stephen A. Smith show that he is doing on YouTube apart from ESPN. He's not doing this on First Take, correct?
No, this is not First Take. God, that'd be something. That would help our engagement if he was indeed talking about you. But here we are.
No good fat bastard. But is the internet trying to figure out who it is, or do
No,
they
the
know
internet-
it's? Do they know it's me?
There's some people that have pieced together that this is not you. Wow. But let's listen together.
There's a lot of people out there that want me to address other names. There's one particular person who will remain nameless, and I will not deny it. I think he's a fat, no-good bastard who I despise to the core. That is not Marcellus Wiley I'm talking about. It ain't hard to figure out who the hell I'm talking about.
Is it me?
I'm where I'm at. That particular individual is where he's at.
Okay, this could still
And
be
I'll
you.
leave it at that. And no, I'm not talking about Marcellus Wiley again. No, I'm not talking about my former colleague on First Take. No, I'm not talking about them. They ain't fat bastards. who are seeds of the devil.
What?
Wishing nothing but black folks home.
Well, that's definitely not Dan.
That's not you. That's not you.
Yeah, I'm a sometimes good fat bastard.
Right,
Yeah.
There you go. It's
Woo!
not Dan.
Wait a minute, that's not me.
It's not Dan.
It's not Dan.
Okay.
It's not Dan.
Congrats.
All right. Well,
It's touch and go there. You've been sowing seeds of the devil. We were not
Yeah,
sure.
wasn't
but
I
sure.
mean, that
At the
really-
very end, I
that-
kind of pieced together that it wasn't Dan. Still have no idea who he's talking about, though.
that,
Like none. Lost on me. Maybe I'm not an alpha male enough to know exactly who he's talking about. Maybe I'm just too beta to figure that one out.
Yeah, a couple of beta males over here.
I don't actually know now that you now that you've put this in front of me. I really and you've cornered me on this because I don't know what to do with the following. I do know so much backstory on what it is that's happening right there, but because he's leaving the person nameless, I don't think Stephen A. Smith would want me to reveal much of anything that I know there about, because he wouldn't want to bring more attention to something that was really poisonous.
Yeah, I mean, he's never shied away from actually saying someone's name. So,
But I
even though
tried
I don't
to-
think that's going to be really effective. I think people piece together.
But I tried to broker peace there.
Why? Why would you do that? Why?
Because if he's indeed talking about the person that we think he's talking about, but again, our beta minds maybe can't piece it together.
It might be
Right, yeah.
Windhorse.
Dan was like one of the last defenders of this person.
The last offender of this person, probably.
Yeah, and I am still confused.
Windhorse
Why'd
definitely
you do
caught
that
astray.
to Windy?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well,
there?
I'm just
All
saying.
caught astray.
Or Marcellus Wiley too. It's not Marcellus Wiley. It's like, well, who's calling him a fat
Well, I
bastard?
think he's emphasizing the fat, and I don't know.
Stop. Just don't name names.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a subsect.
I thought
of
it was
media-
me!
Yeah, well, there's a whole bunch of media people right now that are hoping to God that you don't say their names for the joke.
But I thought it was me.
Poor Ray Rado is out there listening to every hour of this podcast, hoping that because you mentioned Witty that he's not next.
No,
Do
but-
not do that to Ray Rado. He is a
fine.
gem of a man.
Don't do it to Dan Cilio either.
Or Len Pasquarelli.
I think people would be interested in a lot of the backstory here because I've been confused at a number of times over the last couple of years at what has happened to some people in my life where the current of the day that has separated friends and family because they are so far apart ideologically and didn't even know how far apart they were ideologically until the country came apart over the last couple of years. But the person he's talking about, I would have at one time considered a friend, and I don't know what happened to him. Like, I don't know, but I tried to at one point broker peace between these two people, and Stephen A. Smith was so insulted by the idea of this other person that he said to me flatly, I will never speak to that person, and I will never speak about that person in public. I will never acknowledge who that person is because it's one of the first times and only times I've seen Stephen A. Smith so properly indignant about who a person was that he would not abide even a conversation about. This person would like to be in your good graces again. This person would like to not have offended you this way, and he would not even tolerate a conversation with me trying to broker peace between the two.
If I may, like the only time that like I really get mad, because I've had fun on today's show too, like the banter is the banter, but the only time that I've really ever gotten mad at someone for what they've said about you was when, look, guys, I think he's talking about Jason Whitlock. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It might be Rado.
Oh.
Well, lead dog right now is Jason Whitlock. For years, I was telling Dan, why are you caping up for this guy? This person sucks. They suck. And I said that for years as what made them similar started changing, and Jason's just started going totally against some of the ideological takes that he had. He was a really good guest on our show for a while, and you would always defend him, and you're confused by what happened, leaving me super confused by what happened, and he's constantly taking cheap shots to the point that, like, there isn't anyone in this media industry where I would say it's on site for but him. Like, I really dislike the man.
You would fight him on site?
It would be a problem. It would be a problem. It would be uncomfortable.
On site? We sound ridiculous as a show. That sounds threatening.
Well, the accusation to me and Roy specifically were that we were beta. So the only way that I can show someone like Jason Whitlock that I'm alpha is by fighting him.
On site?
Yes, on site.
On site.
Yes.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. Roy,
Why?
Roy,
But that would make me an alpha.
Roy, you want more of this?
Absolutely.
You want more of this?
Damn right.
All right, maybe we should.
I just don't want to be called a beta. It really hurt my feelings.
I've got some good secrets here. I've got some good juicy stuff the internet would eat up here. You and me, Roy, will do a 12-minute podcast called I Listen to Tar Heel Podcasts and Talk to Taylor, and also have secret info about Jason Whitlock that we'll put on Mike Ryan's Twitter feed, subscription only. You don't get that stuff for free. I'm going to hide and I'm going to do what Stephen A. Smith is doing on his show, where he goes off ESPN, off site, and talks about people to increase his numbers. I'm going to increase Mike Ryan's subscription numbers by allowing Roy to interview me about Jason Whitlock on Mike Ryan's Twitter subscription feed.
This is going to net me at least $36.
Oh, wow. Profit.